For Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. Arizona Supreme Court has upheld a Civil War-era abortion ban that only has exceptions to save the life of the parent. The law predates Arizona's statehood before women could vote and provides no exceptions for rape or incest. It puts doctors on notice they may be prosecuted under the 1864 law. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs blasted the decision Tuesday at a press conference with reproductive rights groups.
The near total Civil War era ban that continues to hang over our heads only serves to create more chaos for women and doctors in our state.
The state's attorney general's refusing to enforce the law. It's not currently in effect. Condemnation was widespread, including from MAGA Republican Carrie Lake, who's running for Arizona Senate and the White House. The Associated Press's Haya Punjwani reports.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said,
1/3 of all women of reproductive age now live in a state with an abortion ban. And all of these bans, including the one upheld today that was upheld by the Arizona Supreme Court, are a direct result of the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade.
Democratic Senator Mark Kelly from Arizona also said the move was wrong.
And it's going to have a devastating effect on the health and freedom of women in Arizona.
Currently, 14 states are enforcing bans on abortion at all stages of pregnancy, with limited exceptions. I'm Haya Punjwani.
Voters will have the ultimate say as a measure to enshrine abortion rights in Arizona's constitution is likely to be on the ballot this November. The first parents convicted in a U.S. mass school shooting have been sentenced to at least 10 years in prison in Michigan. The judge says Jennifer and James Crumley missed opportunities that could have prevented their son Ethan from possessing a handgun and killing 4 students at Oxford High School in 2021. Judge Cheryl Matthews said poor parenting wasn't on trial. Rather, the Crumleys ignored things that should have raised the hair on the backs of their necks. They were convicted of involuntary manslaughter and accused of failing to secure a gun and ignoring their son Ethan Crumley's mental health. He's serving life in prison for the shooting. Muslims around the world are celebrating Eid and marking the end of the holy month of Ramadan, but events are overshadowed by the worsening crisis in Gaza and Israel's expected military offensive in Rafah after 6 months of war. More than 1 million displaced Palestinians are celebrating the Eid al-Fitr holiday, breaking a 30-day fast. Many in makeshift tents with barely enough food to eat. Some will go without as the north is on the brink of famine. Many mark the holiday with visits to the graves of sons and daughters killed in the war. More than 33,000 Palestinians have been killed since October 7th. On the eve of Eid, an Israeli airstrike targeted a residential building in the Al-Nusrat refugee camp, killing at least 14 Palestinians, including children, and wounding dozens more, according to reports from Quds News Network. Meanwhile, in a new released interview with President Joe Biden on Univision, he calls for a ceasefire in Gaza and Israel's planned Rafah invasion a mistake.
What I'm calling for is for the Israelis to just call for a ceasefire, allow for the next 6-8 weeks total access to all food and medicine going into the country.
Tuesday, Vice President Kamala Harris met with family members of 5 Americans held hostage by Hamas since its October 7th attack in Israel, which spurred the war. Rachel Goldberg, mother of Hirsch Goldberg Poland, is still in Hamas captivity.
You can believe, as we do, that it is horrible that innocent civilians in Gaza are suffering, and at the same time, you can also know that it is horrible and against international law for hostages to be held against their will. We are 6 months in on day 186. We don't want any more progress. We want results.
At the nation's capital, Palestinians, Jews, and members of Code Pink disrupted a Senate Armed Forces Committee hearing with Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin demanding a ceasefire in the Gaza and the U.S. stop arming Israel.
Secretary Austin, you have been greenlighting genocide for 180 days. You said you speak to Yoav Gallant on the daily basis. 2 days ago, he said the full-scale invasion of Rafah will be akin to the Al-Shifa hospital. That is a complete massacre. The blood of the people of Palestine is on your hands. U.S. taxpayers do not want billions of our dollars going to genocide.
When asked whether Israel's committing a genocide in Gaza, Austin said it is not. House Speaker Mike Johnson will not send articles of impeachment against Homeland Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas to the Senate this week as previously planned. Republican senators have requested more time to build support for holding a full trial. Christopher Martinez reports.
The Republicans blame Mayorkas and also Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and the entire Biden administration for what they call an invasion at the southern border. They say Democratic Senate Leader Chuck Schumer plans to carry a motion to dismiss or table the articles of impeachment, and so avoid a Senate impeachment trial. Republicans call that the nuclear option. The senators say starting at the beginning of the week instead of on Wednesday will give them a better start to their debate, and if Schumer indeed moves to table or dismiss the impeachment, they say they'll be ready with their own motions and points of order. Reporting for Pacifica Radio News KPFA, I'm Christopher Martinez.
I'm Christina Onnested reporting for Pacifica Radio.